ShinRobjira.
68 Boy over here is a reissue of the 50th anniversary memorial box figure with much more accurate paint. As one of the few molds to be made for a memorial box release to then get a wide release makes this, personally, super special. Especially since most molds from this memorial box haven't really had much of a life outside of said box. But anyway, let's get started. Look at him in all of his great Soul Shingeki Goji goodness. Even more so when you turn him around to look at the tag and it's Meguro Goji, not him. Bandai really been using the wrong images of Godzilla on tags since 2007. I mean, knowing them, they've probably been doing it since before then, too. I mean, they're not too far off, but come on, that doesn't look anything like... Anyway, more tag. The beautiful purple border era of the Movie Monster series. You know, only 3 figures, I believe, had this. I think it was this guy, Hedorah, and Jet Jaguar. As you can see, they both practically match, except the image for Godzilla's tag is a little bit more high quality. Hedorah's image looks like a really low-res screenshot. But anyway, opposite side of the tag, we have Godzilla 2006, back when it was a sticker. Whatever that says, we got Millennium Goji, Bandai 2006, made in China, Bandai. And you know what really makes this image all the funnier? When you open up the tag, the image on the inside of the tag is the correct Godzilla design. Oh, Bandai, you so wacky. Now, this lovely lad might not be an exclusive, but it is a rather old Movie Monster series figure. So we are going to double sleeve him with a penny sleeve and a top loader because I want to keep this tag nice and freshy magoo. Alright, and now we can actually talk about the figure. I guess this is the proper time just to tell you all that I friggin' love this design for Godzilla, and I love this figure because this is probably one of the very best Movie Monster series figures we've ever gotten. Reissue when, Bandai? We're all waiting for it. He's got the perfectly adorable giant oversized eyes, the pushed-in little pug nose, the inside of his mouth not being overly ridiculously pink. Yeah, I'm talking about you, motherfucker. I know that overly pink was fixed for future releases of Bandai America 68 Goji, but if we're being honest here, the Bandai Movie Monster EX Series 68 Goji has the better mouth paint. It's just a lot less distracting and it looks a lot more, I guess, organic? Accurate? I don't know what I'm talking about. Love the paint on this guy, loving the detail on the skin, especially for the head and face. This looks so friggin' good. But now let's move down to Godzilla's torso. He's got this weird little stripe running down the center, and I really do like that. Goji is also going to have his nails did. Not as bright as the Bandai America release, but still pretty dang good. Moving on to the knees and feet, we can see that we're going to get more of that very same paint that we got on the chest and claws. Yet again, not very bright, just right. Speaking of which, let's take a look at Godzilla's dorsal fins. They start directly on the back of Godzilla's head and neck. Unfortunately, they aren't painted all the way at the tippy top, but I don't think they really needed to be. Moving on down throughout the back, fantastic detail, lovely paint applications, loving the way these dorsal fins are looking. And yes, you guessed it, on both sides. Look at the detail on these babies. Oh, so nice. I mean, you know, it's not a technical marvel for Bandai, especially at the time, but still, they look great. And the painted dorsal fins are going to move throughout the tail, but they're going to stop about midway when it comes to the paint. Honestly, they get so small, the point in painting dorsal fins that small, it almost feels like, yeah, they really didn't need to. Don't worry, I'm not getting soft on y'all or anything. I do wish they were still painted, but it almost feels like it didn't need to happen anyway. What is painted looks great, has fantastic detail, and totally melds with Godzilla's appearance from the movie. I guess I should say movies, but you know. Beautiful detail on Godzilla's neck over here. More of the same when it comes to his gut, the titties, the arms, and the hands. Really am a big fan of the minor detail on the inside of Godzilla's hands over here. Very, very nice. That very same detail is going to carry out from the thighs to the knees, to the shins, to the ankles, to even the very tops of the feet over here. Very minimal detail on the bottom of Godzilla's feet. Bandai 2003, made in China. Trademark 1968, 2003, Toho Company Limited, Godzilla 1968. Goji's grundle over here kind of gets all thinned out before it moves into the tail, and it looks kind of not right. And I don't mean in a figure sense, I just mean in a biological sense. That looks painful. But then we're moving throughout the bottom of the tail, and we've got some very screen accurate looking details on the bottom of the tail. It kind of begins to smoothen out as the tail raises back up, but when it comes to detail on the tail, everything is looking ship shape. Just beautiful. Beautiful, magnificent, cinema, as some may say. When it comes to the term perfect figure, this is one of the first figures that I think of nowadays. Everything about it is just Honestly, it's perfect. It really, really is. And it would really be just the premiumest of treats to see this guy back on shelves with a new wide release. Granted, we're probably going to get even less paint than what we have here, but I'll take it. Paint and detail is going to get a solid star. Now let's move on over into articulation. Arm, all the way around. Other arm, all the way around. Leg can go about that far until it kind of refuses to move. Now, I don't doubt that the legs can go all the way around, but I'm not going to push it. Remember when I made a comment about Godzilla's grundle over here? Well, that's directly because of the legs. Yes, upon moving the legs back into place, you can see that they kind of fill in that weird little gap over there. You can actually see a part of the thigh over here that almost looks like a fold that was molded into the leg that's kind of going to complete that Godzilla crotch region. You know, it's the most unnecessary little detail, but they still did it, and it still works. Nothing in the head, nothing in the tail because glue seal, and that's pretty much it. It's the Bandai Movie Monster Series norm, and I really don't have any issues with it, so I'm gonna give this guy a solid star. Now we can move on into size comparisons. 68 GOJI was a super must and an absolute no-brainer when found for the blessing of a price of $30 before shipping. It's a shame these designs have yet to see new life in the Movie Monster series line, but I guess if any time were possible for more Showa GOJI, it's probably now. While it's mostly paint that's changed on this release, I'd still say both versions stand beside one another as solid releases from Bandai, solid enough to warrant a visit to Mandarake for either or. Although Memorial Box GOJI will likely be a heftier blow to your wallet. Now, when it comes to comparing the Bandai Memorial Box version of 68, I only have this here picture. So overall, you can see Godzilla is green with the Memorial Box release, and he's got yellow nails and yellow teeth. I imagine the dorsal fins are the same, but this is what I was talking about earlier on in the video. The wide release was the accurate version, while the Memorial Box version might have been based on some concept arts or something to that degree. I'm sure it's not just being pulled out of Bandai's ass all willy-nilly, it's not like they've done that before. But yeah, here's your comparison to the Memorial Box and the wide release. Pretty nifty. Now, back in the day when I did my original review for the Bandai America Godzilla 1968, I didn't have this guy, clearly. So looking at both of them side by side, I really do have to give it to Bandai America. They did a really damn good job bringing this design into the American line. Honestly, save for the pink inner mouth, I think the Bandai America version actually looks a bit better. I especially love how the dorsal fins are handled on the Bandai America version. I love the fact that there is detail on them that look like skin. I love that that detail was built up upon with more paint or lack thereof paint. Here, it's fine. I like the way it looks, but for once, I do think the Bandai America version has something on the Bandai Japan version. And I don't care what anybody says, Bandai America nailed the look of 68 GOJI so very perfectly. And you know, earlier in the video I said that the nails and the highlights weren't as bright as they were on the Bandai America version, but looking at it now, they're pretty much the same. I'm surprised. Now, comparing the Bandai Japan Movie Monster series to the Bandai Movie Monster EX series version of the 1968 Bandai America figure, Jesus Christ. Oddly enough, there's some pretty choice differences. Most of those changes are located in no highlights being on the knees, obviously the two different colors used for the insides of the mouths, and for whatever reason, the nails on the right hand weren't painted on my copy. And I might be grasping at straws here, but I feel the Bandai Movie Monster EX series version's dorsal fins are a little bit darker than this one's. I don't know, you can kind of tell that the tonal differences between the two do differ, right? Am I going insane? I might be going insane, actually. But for the most part, I really couldn't be happier. Yes, this guy's inside of his mouth looks like a yogurt custard nightmare, but it was fixed with the Japanese release of this Bandai America figure. Further proving that the Bandai America line was a lot better than I think many of us, myself included, really gave it credit for back when it was still active. And now that we no longer have it, it's actually kind of sad, because seeing as how well these two figures stack up against the Bandai Japan original really does just speak to me. I don't know what it's exactly saying, but you don't know what you got till it's gone. I find it weird that when it comes to the Movie Monster series, we've been getting more of Godzilla's allies and foes than we have of Godzilla himself, and whenever we do seem to get a Godzilla, it's just a repaint of some kind, with one new design being made into a vinyl figure ever so often. So Bandai, Toho, I'm begging you. More Showa, more Heisei, more Millennium, do something. I mean, when it comes to Heisei, around towards the end, it kind of got a little bit samey, but still, I would love to have a 92 Godzilla, a 93 Godzilla, a 94 Godzilla. Even if you have to do the most mundane thing to them, please make it so I can have it and buy it and give you my money and have a complete Godzilla design collection in Bandai Movie Monster Series vinyl format. Felt nice to talk about a Godzilla Bandai vinyl again. I know I did it a couple of weeks back, but to actually talk about Godzilla in Movie Monster Series vinyl Bandai format, I don't know, I've kind of been missing it. So hope you all enjoyed the video, and when next we meet, I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about because I'm recording this way in friggin' advance. I mean, right now it's July 15th. By the time you guys see this, it'll probably be a week or so after that, so yeah. I'll see you all next time. Peace.